What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of the BrandonJaneauShow. As you know, I am Brandon Janeau, and this is going to be Wrestling Life. Like always, man, subscribe to the podcast on YouTube channel, Brandon Janeau Show, social media platforms, TikTok and Instagram, Brandon Janeau Show, and of course, like always, audio platforms everywhere is the Brandon Janeau Show. And if you hear my fan, I'm sorry, in the background. If you hit a fan, sorry. But it's Texas. It's hot. It's the summer. Yeah, I'm gonna have this fan fucking going. At least one of these fans going. It's too damn hot, man. It's too damn hot. But like I said, man, let's get into it. It is wrestling life, and man, so much has been going on. So I'm gonna do two wrestling life episodes because I don't want to just talk about kind of one A and one B. So let's get into it. So I've said this numerous times. I am not an AEW fan. I don't watch AEW like that. I do watch a lot of wrestling podcasts. So Wrestling Talk is definitely one I watch a lot. So AEW, excuse me, I catch up on AEW there. But Saturday I did watch Collision, some of Collision. CM Punk. I am a CM Punk fan. I grew up I was a huge CM Punk fan in the summer of CM Punk literally a decade ago when he really just took off. Hell, I was even a CM Punk fan when he was in ECW in 2006 when they recreated redid ECW, recreated ECW. I was a huge fan of him then. I always felt like he should have been the ECW champion the moment he got there, but instead they passed that shit around. I mean, he lost to John Morrison when he fucking was already in ECW. John Morrison was never in ECW like that. I never understood that shit, but hey, neither here nor there. Anyway, so John Morris. So I was always a CM Punk fan. Um, even though being a CM Punk fan, I don't live in the world where a lot of these CM Punk fans live in, where it's like he can do no wrong. I don't live in that world. Like I think dude is super talented. I think he's one of the best wrestlers, one of the best shit talkers on in promos ever. But my biggest problem with AEW with CM Punk is that AEW needs CM Punk too damn much. They're relying on CM Punk too much. And I think you're kind of putting yourself in a really bad situation. So, of course, if you watch wrestling like I do, you know CM Punk Saturday returned to AEW after literally 9 months of being on a fucking shelf after the All Out at Brawl Out, well, Brawl Out at All Out, I should say. Uh, and it was crazy, man. And CM Punk got suspended, lost the title, and everything. And man, so he returned to AEW, and his promo is whatever. You know, his promo he disses the young bucks, calls them counterfeit bucks, and all of these things. But I think one thing people are not really paying attention to, which I think is going to be the real dilemma of AEW, and we're gonna see if they physically think about this shit, is they're clearly not going to have a brand split, which is kind of the biggest problem that I have with the situation. Because why you created a whole nother show? Literally, the show was created to keep everybody that don't like each other away from each other. So you're literally telling us, and I know people will say that it's CM Punk show, but really look at all the people that's on Collision. Mero, formerly known as Rusev for WWE. Guess what? He's got problems because he couldn't get on TV and with Dynamite. He couldn't get on TV. So what did you do? You made him sit home for the last 6, 7, 8 months because he couldn't get TV time because you couldn't figure out how to really place him. So you did that to him. Andrade, you know, who was Andrade in WWE. Now he's in AEW. What's wrong with him? He got injured, but also he had backstage problems with Sammy Guevara, that is a problem. Like it was a lot of things. A lot of people. Thunder Rosa, she had problems with Britt Breaker. Like AEW is not just some shit that you. Collision isn't just some shit that people just chalk up to CM Punk. There's a lot of problems in AEW. That's internal fucking problems, and this is why I feel like people are not really taking into consideration. AEW, listen, man. As much as we shit on, you can shit on WWE. That shit is a team. That shit is a team effort. That shit is a team collaboration. Whereas for AEW, you don't really know if everybody's playing for the same team. And that is why I feel like, and I said it a long time ago, AEW is WCW. And I am so wrong on that. AEW is not WCW. AEW is TNA. AEW is TNA. It is going to have a lot of great matches, but no storylines match up. They have no storylines. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They literally have really great matches, and that's about it. That is it. They have, I will easily say that. AEW has really great matches. They figure out a way. Maybe it's because of the Forbidden Door. They always have New Japan. They always have new people coming in, always partners with other people. That's great. You're going to always have great matches, but you're TNA with a better budget. That's all the fuck you are. People can sit here and I'm not one of those. I'm just a WWE fan and all that shit. I'm a wrestling fan, but for me to be interested in your show, you got to have something to make me actually want to go watch it. When CM Punk feuded with MJF, that made me want to go watch it. But that's about it. That like it doesn't make any sense. One thing that CM Punk definitely did when he came back to AEW was bring the belt out, and that's exactly what I'm about to say about MJF and AEW. MJF being a champion is great, but there is something to that. CM Punk never really lost a belt, and that is something that is very true. He never lost a belt. So eventually, MJF and CM Punk is going to have to fight each other. Now, this is where Collision has a problem, and this is why I think they are saying now that it's not a hard brand split, and it won't be a brand split because you're going to have to probably create another title for Collision if you're going to have a brand split. Which is why I think they're saying they're not going to be a brand split. But it kind of fucks up what AEW is because at the end of the day, I think AEW has officially shown you that they're siding with CM Punk in the situation, which is a very daunting situation for the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, the Elite. WWE is going to come and get them. I there's no way in hell they're gonna let CM Punk keep talking shit about them, and nothing's gonna happen. And I don't know where Adam Hangman Page's contract is. I don't know if it ends next year or not. But I do know one thing: that AEW is in a very fucked up position right now. They have to figure this out. CM Punk is going to fight MJF eventually for the title. The question is, when are they gonna fight? Because if CM Punk wins the championship again, he's gonna have to be around the Young Bucks in Kenny Omega in Hangman Page, which is why I feel like having CM Punk be the champion too. I think you just have to create a whole nother title to keep him off of that, and you have to do a brand split. And I think AEW is too fucked up right now, and I don't know what AEW is gonna be when it's all said and done. But one thing I do say this, man, there's too many because Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks are both free agents at the end of this year. You're telling me at the Royal Rumble, it wouldn't be cool to see Kenny Omega pop up in the Young Bucks and they team up with Cody Rhodes or some shit in the Royal Rumble and keep him up until, because he's going to probably be the number one entry in WWE's Royal Rumble this year. So what if the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega are the surprise entrants in the Royal Rumble? And that's how they help Cody Rhodes get to Roman Reigns. Finish the story. I feel like this is a very bad situation for AEW. I don't like chaos with like even with WWE. I hate chaos, but that was the only thing they had wrestling that I would watch. But here's the biggest problem with AEW, man. Tony Khan is not an owner. He is not a guy. You can say whatever you want to say about Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon puts his foot down. Vince McMahon is not a coward. Vince McMahon is not scared of his wrestlers. Tony Khan seems like he's a kid that gets all of his favorite wrestlers, and now it's like, what do I do? He has no idea how to run a company. And I heard Eric Bischoff say this: if I was Tony Khan, I would have fired CM Punk, and I totally agree. There's too much controversy around CM Punk every time he opens his fucking mouth, which you don't know if it's a promo or a shoot, and that's a fucking problem. And I think for AEW's best best situation is I think they already made their bet and they're gonna lie in it, and that is CM Punk. And if Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks leave, that is the end of AEW as we know it. You could say whatever the fuck you want to say. You could try to say it's not, but now for the last 2.5 years, 3 years, your vice president, your EPs of your company who created your company, all four have left the company and went to your competition. My biggest problem with AEW also is stop mentioning WWE. WWE does not mention AEW. They do not give a fuck about AEW. They don't talk about you guys. There's so many wrestlers you could easily give that AEW ammo to, but they don't do it. Why? Because their product is just different. AEW has literally referred to WWE in every promo. MJF literally says Vince McMahon name on AEW television. He said his name on AEW television. That is why I feel like AEW will never compete with WWE. You have too many wrestlers that are showing you outwardly they don't fucking respect your owner. You respect him when he gives you what you want, and that is a fucking problem, man. That's a problem, man. I'm sorry. AEW is in a very bad situation. CM Punk is just one crack in the crevice of what the fuck AEW is about to go through. AEW is fucked. I don't care how many times you put on a great match. I don't give a fuck. You have no storylines. You have no real reason. You have great matches, no storylines. Y'all have no idea how to build a true story. That is a problem for me. You have 4 pay-per-views, 5 pay-per-views. You gotta do more, man. Because you got too many situations. For me, as much as people want to sit up here and say AEW is a competition to WWE, it's not. It's not. When you have to literally refer to WWE in your promos, that tells you all you need to know about how AEW really does run. They have no real, they have no real genuine super like they have no real genuine competition to WWE. There is no competition to WWE. I'm not saying this because I'm a WWE fan, or I'm not saying this because I don't watch AEW. I'm just watching the shit that is I have physically seen. AEW is gonna have great matches, like TNA, great fucking matches, amazing matches. But when you actually sit down and watch it, you're gonna realize why you don't really fuck with it. Because they're and Eric Bischoff said this, and I totally agree. AEW's hit their apex. They're hit it. They hit it. They're gonna have great matches like TNA and WCW used to. WCW had storylines and they had great matches, and then when the great matches started, when the people started leaving, WCW, that's when the storyline stopped. And also they recreated NWO so many times at WCW. It's the same thing in AEW. AEW got a lot of great matches. They don't have any valuable storylines that you remember, like WWE right now. There's no storylines that you can remember in AEW. What's one? Tell me one storyline that you are like, yeah, that makes sense. That rivals a WWE storyline. The only one, the rivals the Bloodline. Okay, one storyline in AEW that rivals the Bloodline storyline, right? Which one? What is one? One faction that I hate to say it could even compete with the Judgment Day situation right now. What is it? Either you're in I hate to say it, but AEW, I think they've been reaching to try to get that WWE 90s attitude era feeling, and they just can never get it. They're not gonna get it. They don't have great matches, but I truly believe in maybe 2 years it's gonna turn into like another TNA, where if WWE doesn't want you, you go to AEW and you get some TV time. Yeah, I think AEW is fucked. I think the Elite is gonna leave. I think Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks are gonna go to WWE because you've already made and Hangman Page. I think you've already made your bed. You're gonna lie in it. You chose CM Punk over the people that actually made your company. I don't understand that shit. I'm sorry. I love CM Punk, but I don't understand that shit at all. I don't. It's been wrestling life. Peace.